What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the early works of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned with this week's guest, Linda Marcus Smith. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. This is the conclusion of our interview with comedian Linda Marcus Smith. Enjoy. So, now you've interviewed a lot of people and quite a few name people. I mean, I know. Now I'm going to name drop for you. Like I know you interviewed Sinbad.
My
and
favorite.
for those people who do not know who Sinbad is, I will show a picture. Now, should I use thin Sinbad or big Sinbad? Which Sinbad did you interview?
I did not interview the thin Sinbad. I interviewed Sinbad just before his stroke.
Okay.
I didn't cause it. Not that effective.
I'm gonna write that down. And is that like a disclaimer for the attorneys in case they're watching? It's like she did. Oh no, she said she didn't do it. She didn't admit to it. We'll catch her saying it one day. So you did not call. They're trying to see it. And even if even if you did admit to it, I would edit it out so they would never know. Because I got your back, girl. I got your back. That's right. That's right. So did you really cause it? Did you? No, we'll edit it out. So I'm going to edit anyway, and it's going to look like it said something. So I'm just going to put an edit there. It's like, what did they say? So for the past 10 minutes, we've been talking about your veteran show. I'm just teasing. That's for the edit. That's for the edit. It was a comment. So for the past 10 minutes, we've been talking about your Zoom military comedy show. Anything else you want to tell me about it? Tell the audience about your Zoom military comedy show?
Well, I have a pension and from being in the military, and I have a lot of jokes about that. But anyway, and I use my own money to bring on really good talent and pay people. And I've paid out thousands of dollars to have 47 different military Zoom comedy shows and paid these people what they're worth to get them on my show. So it's nice when people donate to my Cash App or my Venmo or to help with the defray the cost of bringing on talent. As of late, things have been a little bit tight for me for one reason or another. But back in May, on May 12th, I'm going to have another Zoom comedy show for the military, which is really awesome because every time I see anybody that I think is military or a veteran, I talk to them, I give them a card, and I tell them 24 hours a day, there's 47 shows there on my YouTube where it's just for military and veterans, and they love it. And so it gets airtime from the military, and I send it out to military organizations and veteran-owned businesses. So.
Now, if you don't mind telling, because you just said you will accept donations to your Cash App. So if you want to give that information now, and we will put that out there also as well.
Thank you. So my Venmo is Linda Smith 400 with dashes in between the names. Linda Smith 400, and Cash App is just the dollar sign Linda Marcus Smith.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, because people can't see this now, and this is how the sausage is made. Linda has just mentioned it to you. I don't have a graphic for that. I'm going to create a graphic for it, and while she's mentioning it, cover my face with it so that you could. I don't know. I'm looking over there like there's people over there. I'm so sorry. There's no one over there. The camera's here. I don't know why I'm doing that. I think that's the comedy. I think that's my comedy thing coming. It's like I'm looking. Because in comedy, I don't actually look at the audience usually. I look at spots in the arena or the stage, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at a spot, talking to someone who's not there about your Cash App. So I'm talking to you now. Yes, you. Okay, I'm putting the Cash App information right here for you, and you can donate. You can Venmo and so forth, so that you can help veterans and help them enjoy themselves. And if you are a veteran and you think you're funny, Craig Paul, um, I'm sorry, did I say Craig Paul out loud? I'm so sorry. Reach out to Linda. Craig Paul is hilarious. He's very funny. Um, And the first time, actually, the first time I saw the first time he did, you don't know Craig Paul. He's not like famous. He's like in my heart famous. I love this guy. He's the first time I saw him do comedy. He was talking about he was a sniper in the military, and he was talking about he did a little set, told a story. And when he was done, there was an established comedian there who was telling him he had to shorten his material. And so I went up to, and I didn't want to interrupt, I said, because it's like, no, not everybody is going to be like you. Okay. And so I went up to him and I said, no, you're a storyteller. I said, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You're a storyteller. I said, you don't have to shorten a damn thing. Just, I said, if your story that you want to tell, because first of all, these are like true stories and they're important stories. I said, so if it takes you 20 minutes to tell that story, okay, it may be 22 minutes when you're done because you're going to put in a few one-liners to move the story along. You're not going to cheapen your story. You're not going to cheapen your military life because some other comedian thinks you need to cut out words. Like, no, you don't cut them out. You can, we're just going to add a few jokes in there to move it along because you're doing a show. People will come along for the ride. You give them
Yeah.
just give them comfortable seats. And so, like I said, and I don't know if he's listened to my advice or not. He's not famous yet, so maybe he did take my advice. Who knows? Maybe the other guy was right, but damn it, but I have my conviction. Okay, so, so I don't necessarily believe that shorter is better. It's like no, funny is better. So
It's so amazing how there's so much judgment going on inside a comedy. Like, oh, we have this rule. If you have to get 6 laughs a minute in order to be bookable, you have to show up early at this time, and you have to bring this many people in, and you don't be a storyteller and do be a storyteller. And it's like, leave everybody alone and let them just find their own path, for crying out loud. People are
now,
smart. They'll figure out what works for them.
so has people have there are there people or have there people been um, giving you non-productive advice that or I'm sorry, did I say non-productive advice? I'm sorry, I meant to say, have there been non-helpful helpful people?
Yes, when I first started doing comedy, my jokes were horrible for every reason under the sun. And comedians would go take a smoke break if I went up on stage. The place would vacate. So I literally had to do sit-ups during my set to get people to pay attention. Like do something crazy. I was going on the weekends. I would go in the morning to Bed Bath and Beyond, Pier 1 to the dumpsters and dig out stuff they threw away. And then on stage, when I got done with my comedy, I would have a trivia contest at the end of my 5 minutes. I had to cut it off at 4. Say, ask a question from my set. Whoever yelled out the right answer because they paid attention, they got something from a dipsty dumpster.
I think that's I now I have a, a character that I do from time to time, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. And what I do is on the anniversary, if I do a show around my anniversary of when I started comedy, I have giveaways to the audience as my way of saying thank you for
Yes,
sticking out with me for another year.
absolutely.
So and and not all the things I give away are things of mine. Like I may have a book from another comedian, so I'll may give out material from another comedian that I've acquired, usually acquired legally, usually legally. And then I'll say, this, yeah, because sometimes I will like if there's a comedian that I like, and because a lot of times they're hawking things after end of a show. If I like them, I'll buy if there's a here's my CD. I'll buy two of the CDs, and one I keep for myself and I'll listen to, and the other one goes into my drawer. And at the end of the year, when my anniversary comes around, oh bless you, when my
Thank
anniversary comes around, I just that becomes part of the goodie bag. I give them those things. And so I'm like you. I just say thank you for sticking it out with me, for another year.
When
But you
people
were
come
doing
to
it,
my
yeah.
shows, I don't sell merch. I give stuff to them because I'm
Yes.
thankful that they came. Like I give out Las Vegas souvenirs. I get 120 poker chips for $25, and I'm always giving them out. As thank you for supporting live comedy. Thank you for supporting me. I want to be different. I don't want to, oh, you paid for a babysitter and gas and parking and to get
Yeah.
in here and drinks and food. Oh, and buy my t-shirt. I can't do it. I can't ask them for anything else. They came, and I want them to walk away with something that I gave them.
Yes. I mean, I will, because I have my shirts. Yeah. Yeah. See, I have my shirts. And oh yeah, I have my shirts and my DVDs and stuff. And so, but if I'm doing a show and there's like birthdays, stuff like that, I'm like, oh, birthday. Hopefully, if I find a birthday's anniversary, I'll give them a shirt, shirt, hat, DVD. You know, playing cards. I have playing cards. Um, just stuff that just to say thank you. You
Yeah.
know, because it's a privilege to do what we do. I mean, even though we work our asses off to be good at it, it's a privilege to have the audience. At least in my humble opinion,
I
and
agree.
and hopefully you agree. Otherwise, we're ending the interview right now. Damn it! No, no.
I help fill three big venues here in Vegas. I help fill them. And so I
Yes,
have all their coupons. So when I travel, I give out Vegas coupons to get in free to three different big venues. So
now.
it pays to get in good with comedy clubs because then you have things to give away free.
Now, do you have a bucket list of things that you want to accomplish in comedy yet? I mean, things that because like for example, I know you're working on your a 45-minute set. I don't know, but is this your first 45-minute set?
Yes, I've done 30 twice. And
Okay.
once for two guys in the apartment building by the swimming pool. They laughed the whole way through. And then once on Zoom for a fire department in Texas. But this is the first time uh the material I used then was all me. And I took my material and made the focus being relatable
Right.
and more of a persona of the the little girl inside of me before all the happy-go-lucky, I've forgiven everything kind of stuff. And it's more about how all of this relates to all of you than look at me, this is about me, and then something else about me, and oh, by the way, something else about me. Like I got tired of that. So I'm proud of my new 30-minute set. That's what I'm saying. 45
Cool.
minute set.
Cool. Now I noticed. I saw that you're you're one of I've known a few other comedians that have done this, who will say, okay, I'm working on a 45-minute. In this case, your 45-minute set. Who wants to listen to it on Zoom or something like that? It's like a little private thing. So I saw that you're doing that. Are you reading your notes there? Or are you actually trying to perform it and then see what happens? Or are you reading the show?
Each time I do it, I refer to my notes less. But with the brain, I still do. It takes me 20 times a day for 2 weeks to memorize a 5-minute set, and this is 45.
Right.
So I pretty much know every single thing underneath every topic, and I pretty much know the running order. But there are the first time I did it on Zoom, I had to literally read the whole thing. And then the second time, last night when I was doing it, I had to look at the notes maybe 5 or 6 times in 45 minutes, and it just kind of flowed a lot better. So each time I do it, I will be looking at my notes less, but I don't have it memorized yet. It's raw.
Now, I'm sure I don't think well, when I do when I do 30 minutes or more, I have to have a set list. Actually, to be honest, I need a set list anyway because I will run off at the mouth. It's just and so if and I mean if there's not someone there to stop me, I will be there until the last ass leaves the seat. So I have a set list so I can keep on track. And what I usually do, not usually do, what I do is like I have, I will put on the back, I'll take bottles of water up with me. On the back of the bottles is where I have my set list. So whenever I forget, I'm like, I would do this. And then I'm holding up the water like this, like, okay, I did this. This is what's next. And I take a sip and look at the next joke or the next thing and I put it down. And I have 3 bottles because I can only put about 30 minutes worth of material on the back of a thing.
It's
So I'm just telling you
beautiful.
this. Yeah, I'm just letting you just be because the memory thing. I'm just letting you this. So that's how I do it. Because I started the I first time I was on a show, a show. I realized that the comedians had a set list. The headliner had a set list behind a monitor. Okay, and I went, oh, okay, but you have to look at the monitor. And even on my first DVD, my set list was behind my monitors, and so I had to like look over at the monitors for my set list. And I don't even know how long I was doing comedy before I realized just put it in the back of your bottle. You're holding your bottle. I was thinking, I was watching a football game, and the quarterback did this. They lift up right there, and they look at the play. And I said, I need something like that, but I can't do something like that on. So I just MacGyvered my way to putting it on the back of a bottle.
I love that.
Yep. So I just print it up, get it a font big enough that I don't have to go. So depending on your eyesight, you may need 9 bottles, one for each joke or something, or each. So I'm sorry. I started off asking if you have a bucket list of
I
things you would like to
do.
accomplish. Okay.
So I was, I'm all about military and veterans. I love to make them laugh. And I also like to heal them. I know it sounds weird, but after I do comedy for the military, I say these jokes were not jokes to begin with. They were trauma, things I went through. And Shakespeare made them funny over time.
Right.
So if you have anything you've been through that you haven't been able to make funny yet and you're ready to make it funny, come back, introduce yourself. I will personally help you make anything you've been through in your life funny. So I want to get that curriculum accredited by a college and take that nationwide, and have it like be inside of VA hospitals or whatever, make it go big. I want my military shows to be bigger, and I want to go on a USO or Armed Forces tour. This year I was invited on to 2 of them,
Cool.
and one of them I didn't see the text till it was too late. My bad. And the second time he came back and asked me again, and then the second tour to Poland in February, I think it was, got canceled. So I've been invited to 2 USO shows overseas, but neither one has actually come to fruition yet. But that's my dream. I grew up in the days of watching Bob Hope entertain the
Yes.
troops.
Yes.
And that's what I want to do. I want to go there and I want to make them laugh where they're at.
Now well, actually, I think I messaged you or DM'd you about USO shows because I wanted to know about you doing a USO show. Um, Now, have you done a retirement community show yet?
I have. I love those. When my mom passed away, she was living in, even though she was Christian, she lived in a Jewish retirement place when she passed. And my mother and I had rocky relationship. And after she passed, I wanted to go back there and have that full circle feeling about, the closure. So I went back to that place and they had me coming in weekly to do an hour. My second year in comedy, I was doing an hour a week at the place where my mother passed away. And Wendy Liebman has done that place. Kathy Ladman has done that place. uh, Turns out a lot of people in comedy have been to that Jewish place in Portland, Oregon.
Pre-show
I know
rituals.
it's because I'm so beautiful. I forgive you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't usually, that's true. If I was
Must
talking
be
to
hard.
the pre-show rituals, how have your pre-show rituals evolved over time? Or do you have pre-show rituals?
Yeah, no. Well, one thing I have done, every time I've interviewed somebody, I've tried to pick their brains on what the hell do people do to read an audience. It's like everybody says, like if you bomb, you say, I don't know what I did wrong. And they're like, you just need to learn to read the audience. Like there's some kind of guru that just came off of a mountaintop. And I'm like, oh, shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? So I'm like, what do you do to read a room? So I've tried to make myself like the master of reading the room. Sometimes I read it totally wrong, but I'll go and hang out and listen to what, and I'm taking all these tips from 1,000 comedians, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Are they in a good mood? Are they together? Are they happy? And so I've evolved as far as reading a room. That's all that's gotten better as a ritual.
Now, what I hope this helps you. When I talk to younger comedians, um, try to explain to them, if you've been around, if you see, and this is actually beautiful for people like us because we've been around and we know people. Okay, basically, you're going to figure out. Like for me, there's only 12 type of people. 12 types of people. And I know several people that fit into each of those groups, and I can identify them by their voice or
Wow.
their body posture. And you'll see it. You'll hear somebody's voice, you'll go, you do it. You already do this. You just don't know you do it. You hear a voice, you go like, they sound just like so and so. And it turns out they act like so and so too. And it doesn't take a lot of words for you to pick that up. So I do this when I write. When I write material, I don't write for the audience. I write for me, and I tweak for the audience. But I have an audience in my head. I have 24 people in my head, and and each two represents each type of person that's in the audience. And so when I'm writing, I can see if they laugh. Do I know what makes that person laugh?
Wow.
So when I'm writing, I'm like, okay, like my cousin George is one of the people. My wife is another person, and I'm not going to tell you all the other 22 people. Get your own. Um, but when I'm writing, when I'm tweaking, not when I'm writing, because like I said, I write what I write, and then I start tweaking and say, okay, oh, my wife is not going to like that. Let me do this. Oh, George, okay, my wife will love this, and George will like this, and so that's how I write. And before the show starts, usually I'm doing my own shows. I'm producing my own shows because there are not a lot of people that want to, when I'm producing my own shows, I greet the people at the door and I talk to people and I get to hear their voices. And so I know what the audience comprises of because I know people just like them. So that's how I do it.
I
And
love
that's how,
that.
I talk to the audience beforehand, but I'm in a slightly different position where in the sense that, like, if I produce my own shows, I have that kind of control where I'm talking to the audience. And also I'm a clock Nazi. Okay. If
Yeah.
my show is supposed to start at 7:30 and things aren't ready at 7:30, I'm on stage at 7:30, but I'm talking to the audience.
I am a clock Nazi too. It drives me nuts. You can't make a big deal out of it because like I'm nobody, but I'm punctual. If you tell me to be
Yes.
somewhere at 7, I'm there at 6. You know,
Yes.
I've been
Yes.
fired from jobs for being early. I pride myself in that.
But see, sex workers, you're not supposed to be early. You're supposed to be together. That's just it. Yeah, you can't go. I'm
Yeah, you
done.
don't want to come early as a sex worker, I
Right?
guess.
Yeah, yeah. That's just it's like I'm done. I'll collect some. But you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't finish. I'm on time. You done? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just for the record, Linda was never a sex worker, as far as I know. For the record.
One time, but that doesn't
Okay.
really count.
And that really wasn't work.
It wasn't work. I got money, but it wasn't work. A
Okay.
lot of
Now,
money, but it wasn't work.
now I'm going to bring this up. You mentioned this, and I'm just going to bring it up because you haven't brought it up yet. Your 1000th interview was Tommy Chung. Now, for people who do not know who Tommy Chung is, shame on you.
Thank you.
He is half of Cheech and Chong. If you don't know who Cheech and Chong is, double shame on you. Um, so I'm just saying, what was that interview like?
Sexy. He's so sexy. When he talks, I need a cold shower. He knows how to talk to a woman. That guy, he's not even trying to make me feel good. He knows what to say. He makes you feel like, he's not mansplaining. He's just bringing you in and making you feel so good. Oh my gosh. Everybody needs to talk to Tommy Chong. Tommy Chong wants to be interviewed. So if anybody's out there that's a podcaster, I have the permission to give you the email to talk to his assistant so that you can interview him too.
Do you think I can? When we
Yes.
get off the air, let send
Yes.
it out, okay? Because I would
Oh,
love, I would love to pick his brain.
oh,
Yeah.
it's so much fun. I just so you know, 24 hours a day, I'm in extreme pain, other than the brain, not the brain. Osteoporosis, arthritis, you name it. But when I'm on stage performing jokes, I have no pain. And he mentioned something about that in the 1000th interview. And I said, how come is it that I'm riddled with pain 24 hours a day, but the 5, 10, 15 minutes I'm on stage, no pain? He said, the most incredible thing, he said, because when you're performing jokes and doing what you were meant to do, you're with God. That's the closest on earth that you're going to be to God.
Before I let you go, is there anything that I did not cover that you want to get out there?
I'm single and I'm not a cougar. I am not a cougar. I won't date anybody a day younger. And every year it gets harder to find somebody my age. But I'm not going to date anybody. I'd rather date somebody with a limp dick than somebody that has a collection of limp biscuit, if you know what I mean. So send me all your grandpas, your fathers. I'll interview them.
now here,
I'm
now,
open minded.
now I, now the pills that are used for erectile dysfunction. One of the side effects is that it can cause nausea and dizziness. So is it okay if they're okay as long as if they can perform, but they may want to throw up on you? I'm just saying,
Sure.
is that a
Yeah.
deal breaker? You know,
I
I'm just
wasn't always this gorgeous. I'm used to paper bags.
so it's like I'll get plastic, I'll cover. Okay, just you do you. I'll worry about the mess. Okay.
If I don't find me a guy, pretty soon I'm gonna have to get into necrophilia. It's getting bad.
Well,
Send me somebody.
now are those is that the love of those little candies or Necco? I'm sorry, I'm thinking it's Necco. Okay, I was like that's someone who loves those little Neccos. Now someone's out there going like, "What's a Necco?" Google it. Necco. She's a necrophiliac. Okay. Now you know that.
Necco.
Now you know how to get to Linda's heart. It's through Neccos. I swear I'm gonna. If someone ever brings you a pack of Neccos at the stage, I just let me know because I will. I would love for that to happen. Yeah, I love you, Linda. Here's some Neccos. I hear you like them.
That's all it would take.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate you doing this for me. I and like I said, this is one of the things like we do out of love because, like I said, you interviewed me and I couldn't book you, and I'm interviewing you and you can't book me. This is just mutual respect. Or let's put this way. I hope you mutually respect me because I mutually respect you and admire you. I do. And
Thank
you
you.
actually
I
said
respect you and admire you as well.
I said you actually said some really nice things about my comedy, which I've actually used your quotes on my electronic press kit. Yeah, because you yes, I quoted you. Well, I asked you first if I could, quote you, and you said I could. So it was like my timing being like, funny and good timing and stuff. But yeah,
Thank
so I
you.
I quote you. And so you, along with Christopher Titus, like you're like in the same quote as well, not the same quote because y'all weren't together, but he said I was funny. But
He's great. Oh my god.
yes, he actually is. He is okay. People out there, be prepared for yourself. I am my favorite comedian. If I'm not my favorite comedian, then something's wrong. But Christopher Titus is to me the best comedian. Okay, and I love that guy. He is so good. So he is so much better than me, but I like me more because I have to love me more. It's part of the contract. I don't want people to think, GD said he was better than Christopher Titus. No, Christopher Titus is like 10 times better than me quantitatively. Um, yeah. I think you can actually, let's put it this way. I am the 1,186,782nd funniest comedian on the planet. I, I figured it out. Christopher Titus has got to be like one of the 20 funniest comedians on the planet. It's a big planet. I think top 20 is pretty good. So, anyway.
Well, I was shopping before I did comedy. I was doing shopping at Ross in Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw Christopher Titus walk in and go way to the back to men's suits. And Rachel Bradley, his wife, came and she
Yes.
was looking around the clothes for women. So I went up to her and I said, "Are you with Christopher Titus?" And she said, "I'm his wife." I already knew that, but
Right.
I got her to talk. And I said, "Oh, wow." I said, "I'm thinking about doing comedy." And she goes, "Do you have a joke?" And I go, "Yeah." And I told her a joke. And she goes, "Oh, you've got to do stand up." And she probably says that to everybody because what I told her was so terrible. I'm like, God, she probably just wanted me to get the hell away from her and just wanted me to go anywhere but where I was at in front of her.
I
But
hope
yeah,
she's not sharing a dressing room with me. No, they, the two of them have given me some of the best advice I've ever received in comedy. And it was on mechanics and stage presence. And I, when I talk to younger comedians, I often will regurgitate what they taught me or told to me, and I would give them credit. I don't make it seem like I thought of this myself. I mean, I took what they did and I gave it my own spin because I'm me and they are them. But they're they they take the time to talk to comedians. They're so good. They weren't standoffish. They're helpful. I can't say enough good things about the two of them together or
wow.
separately because, like I said, that's they Rachel. No, she's been wonderful to me. Christopher has been wonderful to me. I mean, it hasn't gotten me any extra bookings, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm a better comedian partially because of them. So, and
Somebody tried to tell me that you should tell your punchline to one person this week, and I thought that's a bunch of poppycock. You
right,
don't. Then you're eliminating the rest of the audience from paying attention to the punchline. That's stupid.
I got to be on stage at the Stephen Colbert show. Myself and my wife Carol. This was the pre-show warm up. The comedian that was warming up the audience. And so what it is, we made eye contact and he called me up and he whispered to me, he goes, "I think I bought drugs from you." And I knew who he thought I was. There's another comedian with dreadlocks in the Baltimore area, and I knew who he thought I was. Now, and the thing is, I felt awful because I'm funnier than that other guy and I look better. but and I thought, because that other guy looks like me if I let myself go for 10 years. He's like 20 years younger than me, and I look 20 years better than him. Sorry. So, but I knew
Wow.
who he thought I was. I had to explain to him later on that I'm not him, and we've exchanged communications since then. So he knows who I am now, as opposed to that other guy. But yeah, he
I
felt.
don't mind. I don't mind confusing two white men for each other, but if I confuse two black men, I feel horrible. I feel horrible, and I should. I should.
No, because it's no, because let's put it this way: we have so many things that we have to pay attention to. And the most important thing that you have to pay attention to is whether something's a threat or not a threat. And so if you know two black guys that you feel comfortable talking to, then feel good because you didn't see them as threats. And that's the more important thing, whether that you look at them as a threat or as a non-threat. In my opinion. I get people mixed up all the time. I get, it's that's why my wife and I wear name badges around the house.
It's not for the role playing.
Oh no. That's it's not role playing, it's amnesia. No, we're at that age. It's not role playing. It's like uh Carol, is it? Love you, Carol. No.
Oh,
So,
you're a riot.
thank you. So are you. I adore you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Uh,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me.
oh yeah. And remember, guys, she's single. And
Yes.
she's not a cougar, she's a puma.
Yeah. And I'm 72. I thought I was 73. And 2 more days and I'll be 72. And I had it wrong. I thought I was turning 73. I was wrong. So I'm literally aging backwards this year.
And well,
Um,
daylight saving times just fuck everybody up. Yeah, I understand. It's a daylight savings time because yeah,
who counts the pandemic? You
right.
know?
We should have a year that we can turn back instead of an hour.
Yes.
Yes, once you get to a certain point, you have earned it. You have earned the right. Whereas, matter of fact, maybe Biden can do it because he's at that age also.
He needs to
Joe,
get reelected. I think he would do it right now.
yeah, Joe, if you're watching, and I know you are, Joe, if you're watching, um, it, put this in your next bill that once you hit your 60s, you are given 1 year to turn back. Just one. We only want 1 year. We just want one extra year. We're not greedy. We're not greedy, and we want so give us one extra year so we just turn it back. And we can all do it on the same day. We can do it on the same day. We don't have to have individual days. We can just, like 300. No, we'll do it on hell. When's your birthday? In honor
March
of you,
9th.
Joe. In honor of you, Joe. On your birthday, we will all of us over 60 will get one extra year. Okay. So thanks. I know you'll do it. I know you'll do it. Thanks, Joe. Love you. Love you. I
I'll
did
vote
vote
for
for you.
him. I'll
Yes.
vote for him if he does it.
Yes. Well, if he does it, I'll vote for him 3 times because I've already voted for him once. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's the thing earlier. You said you lost your license. Do you have it back?
Yeah, they took my license away because I told them that I was having seizures because it would have taken them forever to figure that out. And
Okay.
so I told them, and they said, "Oh, do you have a license?" I said, "Yeah." And they go, "Great, thank you." And they kept it. And then I didn't think that I should be driving with bad memory. And so, like 5 years ago, I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just go see if my license is available for me to tap into. Sure enough, they cleared it up. They decided, enough time went by. Who cares? Let her drive. And so now I can get my license, but I can memorize 45 minutes of comedy because I have a desire to, but you open up a driver's manual and there's colors and shapes and pictures, and I could read it 5 million times and fail the test every time. I can't seem, so I don't drive because I have no desire to memorize. I have a desire to drive, but the connection to memorize that crap to pass the test, that hasn't happened yet.
So are you like an Uber girl, a Lyft girl, a taxi girl, or do you wait a minute. You are Linda fucking Marcus Smith. You have a limo service, don't you?
No, I'm on Lyft because I get like they make better passes at me on Lyft. They're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
all
I
right,
saw your
cool.
picture. I'll be right there." I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." But you're too young for me.
Yeah, well, see, they should get a service, a driver service, and I mean that in a double entendre, a driving service for for women who want to be driven around town, and maybe call it uplift or uh something like a uh nah I'm trying
What's
to,
really hard is I have a fear of taking Uber
right.
because I'm Jewish
I was
and
about to say it's a German word.
Uber alles,
Yes.
Deutschland über alles. Yeah, no thanks. I don't even like doing crowd work because I think kraut work, and we've done that. We've been there. We've done the crowd. No thanks. No crowd work.
So you're not going to be doing any shows on trains either, then.
I do. I go on Amtrak across the country. I do comedy on Amtrak.
Oh, so you have, but you what? Make sure it's on a different line. It's like, no, where are you going? As long as it's not like, okay, you're okay. Just making sure it's Brooklyn, not Auschwitz. Okay, making sure
It's
where's.
got to be a round trip ticket. None of
That's
this
right.
one
That's right. That's right. None of this one way crap.
way.
So I think I've covered everything. We did the military Zoom comedy. Um, so just remind people how they can stalk you on social media. Yeah, just remind people how they can follow you and track you.
I'm on Facebook as Linda Marcus Smith. I'm on TikTok the same. I'm on Instagram the same. I'm on YouTube. Here's the plot twist. On YouTube, it's comedian Linda Marcus Smith. It's very different. And subscribe. And I have Venmo and Cash App, and GD will put that up here later. He'll cover his whole face. You want to look for it. He's going to cover his face and have my way that you can help donate to me doing military Zoom comedy shows.
Now, and for those of you who cannot read, actually, if you have trouble, the bottom ticker is also in Braille. So if you rub your fingers, you don't have to rub it. Just put your finger in one spot, and the letters will go underneath of you. Okay, you'll be able to feel like right now. It goes like, okay, watch this. Follow her on YouTube at comedian Linda Marcus Smith. It rubs right. It's in Braille, so just put your finger there. Right, yes. So you can finger Linda Marcus Smith right here. I'm sorry, that's never mind. That's a different show, and you're going to pay more for that.
I'm imagining every man over 72 fingering me now.
Wash your hands for 20 seconds. So,
Thank you
you
for
so
the
much.
laughs. This was a
You're
lot
welcome.
of fun.
Or use this. This is yes.
Is
Matter of fact,
Is that an early pregnancy test? Because it's too late.
Oh, it's an alcohol thing for a sanitizer. It's a sanitizer. So I'll just put this on the screen for you. There you go, guys. You're good. So thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This is a blast.
And now, okay, technically, show's over.